Hello, hello, hello. It's me again. And this time with, I think, what will be a very long video. I've been playing Slay the Spire 2 for around 115 hours or something. And I'm almost at Ascension 10 with all characters. I think I missed one Ascension for Silent Regent and Necrobinder. So I thought, hey, while I'm just grinding away, I might just do a tier list maker. And this is going to be a tier list maker for every character. And I'll try to divide them, so if you want, you probably have timestamps down in this comment section or description, probably. So you can jump around if you're just interested in the sort of complete lists or a certain character. So you can skip there. First, of course, the Ironclad. Ironclad is one that really took me a while to get, but now that I've gotten his playstyle, it's really interesting. So we'll start out with Crimson Mantle, and maybe I can do something to make this more visible. Can zoom in a bit more, like this, maybe. Ooh, Hurricane. This will be okay, I think. Yeah. Actually, I should maybe change my camera position. Give me a sec. And we're back. I think this will be a little bit better, especially now when the cards are from the left to right. So Crimson Mantle, starting with that one. At the start of your turn, lose 1 HP and gain 8 block. This is one of the best block cards I think Ironclad has access to. And since you always gain at least 6 HP at the end of every combat, the losses can be negated, seemingly. And it also triggers on pretty much a lot of other cards when you lose HP in your turn. Like the Inferno card, it triggers, and the Strength, gain Strength when losing HP on your turn card. I'm not sure what its name is. I think it can also trigger on from a card. No, it can't. Anyway, it's one of the best cards in terms of block, so that's why I'm gonna put it into S. That's where it belongs, in my opinion. Fight Me. 2 energy, deal 5 damage twice, gain 2 strength, the enemy gains 1. I think the upgrade is gain 4 or 3. I'm not really sure. And you do a bit more damage. This isn't really a great card. I think it has its uses, but I think in general this is one of the worst cards that the Ironclad has access to. I would never almost pick this if I'm not going a strength build 100% and know that I can kill some enemy with it. Otherwise, yeah, it's not that good. S. Feed. Deal 10 damage if Fatal raise your max HP by 3 exhaust, and that's permanent. HP in this game is like incredibly good to have much of if you haven't played this, but obviously, so you should at least have one of these. Forgotten Ritual. If you exhausted a card this turn, gain 3 energy. I think this is fine, but it's so conditional that I don't want it to take up a spot in my deck. Because if you go a hard exhaust build, yes, this is pretty fine because you always exhaust cards each turn pretty much. But yeah, I wouldn't. Otherwise it's just a dead card. Ashen Strike is a bit better. Deals 6 damage, deals 3 additional damage for each card in your exhaust pile. And that's just each card, not each card you exhausted per se. So Ascender's, what is it? Ascender's something which exhausts. Or I think it's Ethereal, so it exhausts if you just pass turn. I think this is a bit better. One of the better damage dealers in exhaust build. I'm not really sure if I want to put in A or B though. I think for now it will have to go into B. It takes a while to get rolling too. Rampage. Deal 9 damage. Increase this card's damage by 5 this combat. So every time you play this card, it gains another 5 damage. I think the upgrade, it gains another 9 damage. Still one of the worst cards. Because even if you have strength or whatever, there are so many other cards I'd rather play than Rampage. I've tried to have it and tried to make it work, but it never does for me. So D tier. Iron Wave, gain 5 block, deal 5 damage. Obviously it's better than Strike. Obviously it's better than Defend, I think. But it's not that great. I'm not sure if I want to put it into D. It's good in Act 1 if you go for a block build and you have some form of... what is it? Body Slam. Otherwise, no. D. Feel no pain. Whenever a card is exhausted, gain 3 block. This is absolutely killer. One of the better block powers that the Ironclad has access to. If you combine this with an exhaust build, or if you have the Corruption card, this is just incredible. Barricade. Block is not removed at the start of your turn. This can be good in a block build, but oftentimes when you play a block build, you have multitude of cards already that sort of raise your block anyway. It can be good because if you upgrade it, it will just cost 2. So I think with that in mind, it's too costly to make work, if I'm being honest. If I'm going block build, I'm taking this, obviously. But otherwise, I would never take this. Bloodletting is really good. I think it's an A. Lose 3 HP. Hurts a bit, but it costs 0 and nets you 2 extra energy. And during some turns, that is crucial to make it to make the Ironclad work. So I always want at least one of these, if I can. Mangle, deal 15 damage. Enemy loses 10 strength this turn. This card absolutely sucks. It's too expensive, doesn't deal enough damage, and the loss of strength is nice, but otherwise it's... I've never picked this card. I have never picked it. Hellraiser, a bit controversial, especially because I'm gonna put this into B. I've been playing a lot of strike builds lately, and I think they're really fun. They're a bit situational and kind of depends on the rage cards to gain block. Other than that, if you have this in your deck, holy moly, you just whack them. If you have this and card draw, so let's say if you have this and a couple of, what is it, the pommel strikes, is that the name? Give me a sec. Excuse you? Yeah, here we have pommel strike. This can just go on and on and on and on. It's incredible. In that case, Hemokinesis. Lose 2 HP, deal 14 damage. This is okay. Act 1, it can be a good damage boost, and it triggers your loss of HP each turn. It only costs 1, but it's 2 HP each time. If you have the Tungsten Rod, it's obviously better, but other than that, no. Packed Sand, one of the better exhaust cards in my book, can only be played if you have 3 or more cards in your exhaust pile. Costs 0, deals 17 damage to all enemies. I really like this card, just having a sort of AoE with exhaust builds, obviously. And you can take it even if you don't play exhaust builds, if you have some form of other exhaust. So I think this is one of the better ones. Dismantle, deal 8 damage. If the enemy is vulnerable, hits twice. So this, one thing that you normally wouldn't think about with this card, Dismantle, is that At base, if the enemy is vulnerable, it hits twice, yes. But it also hits for 12 instead of 8 at base. So that's 24 damage for 1 mana or 1 energy. If the enemy isn't vulnerable, it's 8 damage for 1 energy. Not that great, but obviously not the worst either. I think vulnerable builds definitely want one of these, but other than that, I think it's just a C. Yeah. Yeah, I can't put it any higher. Thrash, deal 4 damage twice, exhaust a random attack in your hand and add its damage to this card. This is fine. It's not the best. It can ramp pretty quickly in an exhaust build. So I think that's a bit higher than Dismantle. But I don't think I'd... The problem is that it's a random attack, so it can screw you over. I think... But you can play around it too. The problem is also that it's 4 damage twice at base. Actually, it's just a C. Defend obviously is a D. Hull from Beyond. Deal 16 damage to all enemies at the start of your turn, placed from the exhaust pile. So if you exhaust this card, you can do it over and over and over again. It plays itself at the start of your turn and comes back into your deck, so you can exhaust it again. The problem is that it's 3 energy, so it can be a dead card. And that's why I'm just gonna put it into C. Stampede, at the end of your turn, 1 random attack in your hand is played against a random enemy. Upgraded, this is just 1 energy. I think it's one of the better powers if you're going for a heavy hitter build. You can always leave your highest damaging attack to last and have it automatically play in that way. I think it's a B actually. Shrug it off, one of my personal favorite block cards. It lets you block and it draws you a card. So it's never really a dead card per se. I'd put this actually. I know people don't really agree with this tank, but I put it into B. Body Slam, one of the better outputs if you're going for a block build, obviously. I think I body slammed for over 100 damage many times. For 0 mana upgraded. That is just crazy output, if you ask me. So I think it's a B in that way. It can be good in a non-block build also because it's zero energy, so not too shabby, I guess. Perfected Strike. If you're going for a strike build, this is absolutely necessary, if you ask me. But it's not great otherwise, I'd put it in C. Stone Armor is bad. Offering is the shit. 0 energy, lose 6 HP, a heavy cost, but gain 2 energy, draw 3 cards, and it exhausts itself, so it doesn't take up 1 space in that way. I think actually this might be probably the best card Ironclad has currently. We'll see if I change my mind with that one. Primal Force, transform all attacks in your hand into Giant Rock. I think Giant Rock deals 15 damage, costs 1. So it basically is just like an upgraded strike. It can be decent, but I can't really put it higher than C. Maybe I can put it into Inferno is great. It's an A. Start of your turn, lose 1 HP. Whenever you lose HP in your turn, deal 6 damage to all enemies. This is what I was talking about earlier, where if you have Bloodletting, for example, you have Inferno active, you actually net out 12 damage to all enemies on that turn. So that's why it's good. Breakthrough, lose 1 HP, deal 9 damage to all enemies. It's decent. I'd still put it into C. The problem with this card is that, yeah, deals 9 damage to all enemies and it can trigger other stuff like Inferno. But Inferno triggers of itself every turn. breakthrough isn't all that great. Cinder, deal 17 damage, exhaust the top card of your draw pile. Upgraded, this is 25 damage I think, and it's decent but not great. Impervious, premium block, this is great. Basically this card says upgraded, I think it's 40 block, and it basically says you get to live an extra turn no matter what. There are some enemies that hit above that number, but there aren't many if you're not frail or something. So, premium block. Bully. 0 energy, deal 4 damage, deals 2 additional damage for each vulnerable on the enemy. So worst case, this is a 4 damage. Otherwise, one step up from there is that it deals 6 damage plus 3, so 9. So 4, 9, I think 14, etc, etc. This is great in vulnerable builds, and I always pick it in those because it sort of makes the build work extra well. In other builds, it's kind of not great, so that's why it's a C. I know it seems counterintuitive that I say it's one of the best cards in the vulnerable build and then I put it in C, but yeah. Juggernaut, whenever you gain block, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. This card sucks. I thought it didn't, but it does, because it's 2 energy, first of all, and then it's 5 damage to a random enemy each time you gain block. This can get you through acts 1 and 2 if you're playing a block build, but otherwise it's too niche. I'd never pick this otherwise. That's why. Alright. Fiend Fire. Exhaust your hand. Deal 7 damage for each card exhausted. Exhaust. So this is really, really great. I thought it sucked at first, but it did not. Basically, if you say have a hand of curses, or you have a status hand, you can exhaust every one of these and gain damage from it as well. In exhaust builds, it also nets you above the limit of Pact's End immediately, and yeah, it can also trigger on Feel No Pain, for example, so I think this is an A. Dominate. Gain 1 strength for each vulnerable on the enemy. Exhaust. And I think it's updated now that it applies 1 vulnerable also. So I think this isn't the updated cards, but no matter. This is great. I always want at least 1 in each of my decks, even if I don't go for a vulnerable build necessarily. It's still great. Alright. Alright, now we have Demon Form, and Demon Form at the start of your turn gain 2 strength. Sounds great, but it's obviously a D. It's so expensive, like 3 energy first of all, and you gain 2 strength every turn. There are other ways to get more strength faster, and I think this is good with longer battles, but there are very few times that I think it's worth it, so that's why. Dark Embrace. Whenever a card is exhausted, draw 1 card. This is great. Card draw in exhaust builds and otherwise other builds are always good to have, and this sort of accelerates that. Colossus. This is downgraded now to, I think, rare. No, uncommon. But it's one of the best block cards in Ironclad's arsenal, because you receive 50% less damage from vulnerable enemies this turn, which basically means, I think upgraded, it gives you 8 block, and then if the enemy does 16 damage, it's basically a 16 damage block for 1. This is just great. Burning Pact is another A card. You exhaust a card, so you can exhaust status cards or some card you don't want, like a strike maybe, and you can draw 2 from it. I think this is well worth to at least have 1 in your deck. Rage is an A. I think Rage is one of the better block cards. Whenever you play an attack, gain 3 block. Upgraded, it's 5. So if you have this in your hand and 3 attacks, that costs 1, for example. This basically says pay 0, gain 15 block. Sounds great. Otherwise, yeah, it can be sort of a dead card every now and then, but if I see this, I take it. Expect a fight. Gain 1 energy for each attack in your hand. This is really bad, I think. It can be good if you sort of go for a strike build, for example, but I'd much rather every time take the bloodletting because it's a guaranteed 2 energy. Yeah, you don't lose HP on this one, but it can be, like I said, a dead card. So, Rupture. Whenever you lose HP on your turn, gain 1 strength. In isolation, this is pretty good. This is pretty bad, I mean. And with a blood build or something, or if you have any way to sort of trigger those HP losses, this can be great. But I still not put it higher than I think C. The problem is that it's so niche for only pretty much blood builds. Worth noting though is that it can trigger on status card, like Infection for example. Thunderclap is decent, but I put it in C because there are way better cards out there. And apply 1 vulnerable to all enemies sounds nice, but it's just for 1 turn. Or 1 vulnerable. Molten Fist is kind of strange. It's a vulnerable build card, it's an exhaust card, and I think it's like C. That's it. Uppercut is great. I always want at least 1 of these in my cards. Upgraded, it's applied 2 weak and 2 vulnerable. I think it deals 18 damage. Yeah, the 2 cost is sort of high, but otherwise it's just fantastic. Conflagration, deal 8 damage to all enemies, deals 2 additional damage for each other attack you play this turn. So you can play 2 other attacks, let's say strike, and this basically says deal 12 damage to all enemies. It's okay, it's not great. If I'm being honest, it's like a C2. Pyre, gain 1 energy at the start of each turn. Costs 2. I think the upgraded version costs 2 and gains you 2 energy. I still think this is a C. I take it every now and then, actually. When I play my strike build, for example, I can take it. But the problem is you're paying 2 to gain 1 or 2 at the start of the next turn. So you're sort of delaying everything. It can work in longer battles, but it's just such a niche card. Pommel Strike. I would put this into S. One of the few attacks that I really think like you should always take if you can. At least 1. Upgraded, you draw 2 cards and it's just 1 energy. It's super good. Spite. Deal 6 damage if you lost HP this turn. Draw a card. I think they've remade this into hitting twice or something. Or maybe this is the reworked version, I'm not sure. For 0 energy, this can be a pretty decent output into B. Evil Eye. Gain 8 block, gain another 8 block if you have exhausted a card this turn. One of the better block cards again. Exhaust builds, you pretty much exhaust a card every turn. Otherwise, if you don't have exhausted card, it's still 8 block for 1, which is acceptable. Beltrans S, draw 3 cards. You can draw additional cards this turn, absolutely. Sounds like a huge drawback, but just that 0 energy draw 3 is just crazy. Armaments, I think this is a D. It can work in block builds, it can work in other builds too, because upgrade a card in your hand, upgrade it, upgrade all cards in your hand. The problem is that it's just 5 block. And it's not really worth it at most times. Grapple, deal 7 damage whenever you gain block this turn, deal 5 damage to the enemy. This is pretty much a better version than Juggernaut. Instead, it's an attack. So just for that reason, I'll put it in C. Cruelty. Vulnerable enemies take an additional 25 damage. I'll put this into B. Because you always have, starting out, a bash that applies to vulnerable. And upgraded it's, I think, deal 11 or 12 damage. And apply 3 vulnerable. And that additional 25% can do a lot, especially late game. So that's why it's a B. Pillage. Deal 6 damage, draw cards until you draw a non-attack card. This is pretty much deal 6 damage, draw a skill or power from your deck. Or a status card. I think it's decent. I'd put it into C. I haven't found any use for it. Unmovable. The first time you gain block from a card each turn, double the amount gained. Great card. Upgrader is 1 energy. I think it's basically a pile's flesh or something. I think the relic is called. I think it's a B still. Juggling can work in certain decks, like with anger. Obviously, there's a purpose for it. I still think it's a D. It's just not a great card. Brand, I think is underrated. I think it's a B. Yeah, you lose a 1 HP. You exhaust the card. If you play this last, you exhaust nothing and you gain 1 strength. And it's not exhaust either, so you can replay this every now and then. So you can thin your deck, and I think always that is powerful. Unrelenting is a card I've never taken because usually it's good in decks for where like you have bludgeon that costs 2 and more, or very expensive cards. But then you also need to draw those cards, and yeah, I haven't found a good use for it, to be honest. True Grit. Gain 7 block. Exhaust 1 card at random. Upgraded, it's just exhaust 1 card and more block. I still think this is D. I never take this except if I'm playing an exhaust build. That's the only time I might even take it, and even then I'm not really sure I would. Aggression. At the start of your turn, put a random attack from your discard pile into your hand and upgrade it. I think this is also a D. I think this can work with like anger, because you get more and more and more. But otherwise, I haven't found a use for it. Whirlwind is okay. Going for a strength build or something, or if you have some extra energy to spare, it's a good AoE. But it's way too weak to get you anywhere else. Same with bludgeon. That's just pure damage. That's okay, acceptable, but not much else. Inflame, gain 2 strength. I think this is pretty good. I think it's a B. That's it. Upgraded, it's 3 strength, and upgraded is okay too. It makes you do more damage, which is nice. Sword Boomerang, deal 3 damage to a random enemy 3 times. With strength, this can really get out of control fast. But I don't think it's really that wow. I never take it. Strike as D, of course. Second win, exhaust all non-attack cards in your hand. Gain 5 block for each card exhausted. This is basically a mass block in one. Let's say you have 3 defense, obviously you exhaust them all and you gain 15 block instead. And it's replayable too, so you can do it many other times. I think this is probably an A. It thins up your deck, it can save you in a lot of turns, and for just 1 energy, it's great. Tear Asunder, deal 5 damage. It's an additional time for each time you lost HP this combat. It sounds great, I know. But it's really not that amazing. I would put this maybe into If I'm going for a blood build, of course, I'd pick this. Otherwise, I think it's one of the worst attacks in that category. Setup strike, deals 7 damage, gain 2 strength this turn. Too niche, doesn't really do anything like that. Obviously, it can be nice in a strike build, but other than that, nah. Corruption. This is like an S. Corruption is so insane. And you get it upgraded, which it costs 2 and skills cost 0. Whenever you play a skill, exhaust it. It thins out your deck, you can play all your blocks at 0 cost. And you can play many other cards that sort of makes this an insane engine. This is great. A fantastic card. 1-2 punch. This turn your next attack is played on extra time. I think this sucks. It's way too niche to get it to work. And yeah, you can do crazy stuff, like if you have this, you do 1-2 punch, and then if you have a blood build, you can do tear asunder, but like I said, it's too niche to get to work, and yeah. So I usually skip it. Flame barrier. You gain block when enemies attack you. They take damage. I think this is pretty decent. In a block build, this is my go-to block card. It's amazing. Upgraded it 16 block. And they take a lot of damage. So if you have that with thorns, holy hell. They drop fast. I think it's a C anyway. In general. Vicious. Whenever you apply vulnerable, draw a card. I think this is a B. In vulnerable builds, this is like an S. You pretty much need this. You don't need it, but you really, really want this card in vulnerable builds. Cascade. Play the top X cards of your draw pile. Upgraded is X+1. I think this is a card many overlook. Yeah, you play random cards. Absolutely. But you can play cards of any cost. You can play, for example, Bloodwall for 2. And then you can play like the Bludgeon for 3. Or other cards that's high in cost. And if you have it upgraded, it's always a play 1 card for free. So I think this is an A in my book. I love Cascade. Taunt is probably the best block card, except Ironclad has a lot of great block cards. It's still an S. Upgraded, this is gain like 10 block, apply 2 vulnerable for 1. That is really, really good. Drum of Battle. 0. Draw 2 cards at the start of your turn. Exhaust the top card of your draw pile. I think this is okay. Early game it's not great. Late game it can be decent. It exhausts the top card at the start of each turn, so it sort of thins your deck. But the problem is that you can't really control it. I put this into B. Tremble is amazing. It's an A. I was about to put it into S, but it's not an S card. Apply 2 vulnerable. I think currently it's apply 3. And the upgrade is apply 4 and exhaust. So I really like the card. Just applying vulnerable is always a good one. Twin Strike is decent. Base it's like 10 damage. If you're not debuffed or anything, and if you have some strength to it, it can really go off a bit. It's decent. I'd put it into B. Into C. Into B. So it's better than Dismantle or Thrash, because this is just 5 at all times. Havoc is a C. Upgraded, it says play the top card of your draw pile and exhaust it for 0. But we already have one of those, and it's Cascade. That doesn't exhaust. Or it does exhaust, but it's just better because it scales more. Stomp is a D. It's way too sort of it's way too niche to get to work, and it relies on you attacking many times. So break. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is NES. I love break. I'll put it here. Deal 20 damage, apply 5 vulnerable. Upgraded, this is 1. Deal, I think, 25 damage, apply 7 vulnerable. That is insane for 1 energy. Whew. One of the best cards, damage-wise and debuff-wise. Bash is decent. It's a bit too costly. 2 for 8 damage isn't great. The 2 vulnerable is great, but oftentimes you can play this and a strike and not much else. So you kind of rely on other cards to get it to work, but it's still a really good card. Blood Wall is a B2. The problem is that it's it's a bit expensive. You gain a lot of block though. But if we compare this to, what is it, Flame Barrier. Flame Barrier also deals damage to the enemy when they attack. This is a bit better because it nets you 4 more block at base and it triggers your HP loss, etc. So I think that's why it's a bit better. Anger is great. I usually want one of those copies in my decks. Usually. Why is there 2 Ashen Strikes? Whatever. Stoke, exhaust your hand. Draw a card for each card exhausted. Exhaust. Is that really what it does? I don't think it does that anymore. I think it says exhaust all cards. And then gain a random card instead. It's something like that. Stoke is really good. In my opinion. Headbutt. Deal 9 damage, put a card from your discard pile on top of your draw pile. So it sort of guarantees you to get a specific card whenever you draw a card. I think this is a C. It has its uses, but for the Ironclad, it's not often that you rely on having a specific card in that way, I think. So that's why it's a C. Infernal Blade. At random attack into your hand, it's free to play this turn. If you're unlucky, you get Whirlwind and it sucks. Or you get a 0 cost card and it usually sucks. But upgraded, it's still a C cost 0. Upgraded. So here's my finished... So here's my finished list for the Ironclad. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I think this is a pretty fine list currently, and keep in mind that all cards are usable to some degree. It just depends on your build most of the times, which card you want to take, etc. So that's why. On to the Silent. Alright, here we have the Silent. Starting off with Abrasive Sly. Gain 1 Dexterity, 4 Thorns. This is one of the better cards the Silent has access to, and upgraded I think it's 7 Thorns. Even in a non-Sly build, you always have, what is it, the block card that discards a card, and I usually don't have any problem sort of trying to get the Sly part of the card to work. Sometimes I have hard casted it if I had the energy, or if the enemy was blocking and I had no other cards like that, or debuffing or whatever. So I think this is one of the better ones, and Dexterity is so powerful. So Accelerant. Poison is triggered 1 additional time. Obviously in a poison build we don't really need. Give me a sec. There we go. Yeah, so we don't really need the F, I think. Maybe an E. Obviously just good in a poison build. It's very niche, but it being triggered in 1 additional time means that it also decreases 1 additional time. I think this is D. It's sort of way too niche. Accuracy. Shivs deal 4 additional damage. I think this is a great card in Shiv builds, but otherwise obviously you wouldn't take this at all. So yeah, enough said about that. Acrobatics is an A. Upgraded, it's 4-1. So you always want to draw cards, especially in a slide build. This also discards a card, which is insanely powerful. So you can trigger stuff like Abrasive. So if I get the Acrobatics, I usually take 1 copy of it, no matter what build I'm going for. Adrenaline, gain 1 energy, draw 2 cards, exhausts, upgrade its 2 energy. This I always take. If I see Adrenaline, I'm taking the card. There are no other cards. I think this is pretty much the best card available to the Silent. So that's my opinion. After Image, whenever you play a card, gain 1 block. Upgraded, this is innate. I think. Innate. Bam. I always take this. Anticipate, gain 3 dexterity this turn. It's a bit too niche. I don't know if I would ever take this voluntarily. Maybe if I played a heavy card draw build, then I would take it, but I'm not sure. It's not the worst card either. Cost 0, so a D. Assassinate is great. Innate, deal 10 damage, apply 1 vulnerable, upgrade its 2, I think, and more damage. And a 0 cost card. Amazing. Backflip is great too. It's a bit too weak in terms of block, but it also draws you 2 cards, which card draw is always great to have. Backstab is also really cool. I usually take it. If I can, at least 1. It's slightly worse than Assassinate, but not by much. I think this is very close to being an A. Blade Dance, add 3 shivs into your hand, exhaust. I think this is pretty much a C. Usually this is just 1 energy, deal 12 damage. And that's fine, that's pretty good actually. It exhausts after, and it nets you a lot of shivs in your exhaust pile. The problem is that it's in non-shiv builds, it just doesn't do much. That's why. Blade of Ink. This turn, whenever you play an attack, gain 2 strength this turn. That's not what it does at all. It's more, this is one, you get 2 inky shivs that deals a bit more damage and apply weak. With that in mind, if you don't take this text box currently for what it is, with that in mind, it's much better. So yeah. Blur, gain 5 block. Block is not removed at the start of your next turn. This is pretty cool. I like it. I put it into A. The problem is that the block is a bit too low actually to get it to work, which is a shame, but yeah, that's how it is. Bouncing Flask is decent. I put it into C. Bubble is good in a poison build, obviously. In other builds, it just sucks. I think I would never take this card if I weren't going for a block build, poison build. And I think actually there are many other cards that's better than this. I put it to E. Bullet Time. You can draw additional cards this turn. All cards in your hand are free to play this turn. This is great in a build where you use cards that's expensive. You can even play Haze, for example. You don't have to care about the other stuff. I think still it's just a B, because the problem is that when you play the Silent, you usually want to go for a poison build or something, or a sly build, and card draw is always good to have. So with that in mind, I think I'll put it into C even. Burst. This turn, your next skill is played an extra time. Upgraded it's your next 2 skills. I think this is a D. It's way too niche to get to work. So, yeah. Calculated Gamble. Discard your hand, then draw that many cards. Exhaust. Upgraded it's Retain too. I think this is great. It's one of the best card selection cards out there. And it can trigger all the sly effects too. So, yeah. this is insane. Cloak and Dagger is decent. The problem is, once again, a bit too little block, and yeah. But you also gain a shiv, so it's decent. Corrosive Wave. Whenever you draw a card this turn, apply 3 poison to all enemies. So in a Sly build, this is obviously pretty freaking good, but it also takes up the slot. I put this into C. Or do I? Yes, because poison builds doesn't usually want too much insane card draw. Dagger Spray is okay. I usually never take it though. It's nice that it attacks all enemies, but there are way better cards. Dagger Throw is a C. It draws you a card and discards a card, but not much else. Dash is like D. You know what? It's an E. The 10 block is nice, the 10 damage doesn't really matter in a card like this. I'd rather have that it does something else and lets me 10 block. Deadly Poison is a C. The good thing about it is that it starts the poison ticks, and in total I think it's 5 exclamation damage. So let's see, 6, 10, it's 15 damage for 1 energy in total, but it's over a few turns too. So it's decent. Defend obviously an E. Deflect is okay. It's a free 4 block, but there are much better cards. We have the Finesse colorless card that gains 4 block and draws you a card, which is much better. So in a Sly build with heavy card draw, it's okay. Otherwise, I'd never take this. Dodge and Roll. And I have a buddy that's probably gonna kill me after this. It's too much. It's too few. The block doesn't really do anything. Like 4 is nothing in terms of block in this game. The enemies hit so damn hard, especially on higher ascensions. So nah, I haven't picked this card and I will never pick it probably. Echoing Slash is decent. I'd probably put it into B. Deal 10 damage to all enemies. Repeat this effect for each enemy killed. Very good early game. Act 1, it can just crush enemies. If you face the, what is it? The blob boss, you can kill all the other enemies in like 1 cast of this one. Or you attack one of them and then you cast this one, killing that one, and then killing the other ones. It's really good, I think. Worst case, it just deals 10 damage to all enemies for 1. That's pretty decent. And Venom. I know this is very controversial, but the problem with Envenom is that it's too costly. Even upgraded, it's 2. And I don't think it's ever worth it for that effect. With a Shiv build, obviously, you can stack on a lot of poison very fast. I'd rather play something else. Escape Plan, I really like this card. I put it into B. And the reason why is that this is just a much better card than Deflect. You draw a card, if you draw a skill, gain 3 block, otherwise you just draw a card. It replaces itself. So I think this is a bit better. Don't know if I should put in, maybe I put into C actually. Expertise, draw cards until you have 6 in your hand. This can be good if you don't really have a lot of card draw, but for the effect I'd rather play something else. And you always draw so many cards at the start of turn. With Silent you don't have any problem with card draw usually, so usually this is just a dead card. Expose is great. It's an A. It removes all artifact and block and applies vulnerable for 0. You always want at least one of these in your decks. Venom Knives. put it into B. If you're going for a shiv build, this is like your main engine against multiple enemies. They hit all enemies and you get 4 shivs immediately into your hand. So what is it? 16 damage to all enemies for 2. Sounds pretty sort of expensive, but if you play other shiv cards, this effect just goes out of, yeah. Finisher, deal 6 damage for each attack already played this turn. I think this can be really, really good in, like I said, a shiv build. But it's also very situational to get it to work. I think I put into C. Worst case scenario is it just a dead card. But it can do really insane things, so I can't put it lower. Flanking, the enemy takes double damage from other players this turn. This is a multiplayer card. If you play this with the Ironclad, it can be insane. If you play this with Regent, which is going with the, how do you say, the Forge build, this can make numbers for sure. But 2 against the effect can be really, I put it in D. Flechettes, deal 5 damage for each skill in your hand. If you don't have any skill, this is a dead card. We don't like those. I put it in D. Obviously, can do a lot of damage in one turn. If you're playing a heavy card draw build, it can really pop off. But I don't like dead cards. I want guarantees over situational insane cards. Flick Flag is deals 7 damage to all enemies for 1. I think it's 6 currently. Dagger Spray is better. Or they're pretty much the same because this is Slide too. Follow through, deal 6 damage to all enemies. If the last card you played this turn was a skill, apply weak to all enemies. That's not what it does currently. So I don't know what the fuck this list is, but you know what? What is this list? Give me a sec. Yeah, this is an old list of cards. So this is different now, and thus I'm not sure I'll leave it like this. Footwork is like insane. Dexterity in this game is so powerful, especially with enemies that hit hard. Getting that 2-3 extra dexterity, like forever, that's crazy. Grand Finale. This is an E. I've gotten it cast once, and it was awesome. But this is one that's just way too niche, and to get it to work, you can't really do it consistently, and oftentimes it ends up just being a dead card. That's why. Hand Trick. Gain 7 block and slide to a skill in your hand this turn. This is a C. Can be good. It nets you some block too, so yeah, pretty decent. Haze. Sly. Apply 4 poison to all enemies. This is only good in a Sly build, obviously. You would never pick this otherwise. I think it's a... I think it's maybe a D. Hidden Daggers is great. This card basically says discard 2 cards. If you don't... No, this card basically says 0. Add 2 shifts into your hand. Because usually you want to play this last or when you have no energy left. And, I mean, 2 free shivs is great. Infinite Blades, at the start of your turn, add 1 shiv into your hand. I think this is a great card. And the reason why is that this basically says, the first time you play it, yeah, it's 1 energy down the drain. But all other turns, you gain 1 extra attack, you gain 4 extra damage, etc. And having that sort of ability all turns can really lead somewhere. I think, though, when I think about it, it's probably a B instead. Knife Trap, though, it's amazing. Play every shiv in your exhaust pile on the enemy. If you're playing a shiv build and you get this is just like a free win almost. It's insane how much you can scale with this. Leading Strike. Deal 7 damage. Add 1 shiv into your hand. Upgraded. It's 2 shivs. This is an okay card. I think I'd put it into maybe a B, actually. Maybe a C. The problem is that... Again, I probably only take this in a shiv specific build. So that's why. Leg Sweep is great. It's an A. Apply 2 weak, gain 11 block. In comparison to the other one... What is Dash? Gain 10 block, deal 10 damage. This nets you even more block and it applies weak, which is so incredible in this game. One of the best block cards the Silent has access to. Melee's S. Incredible. Enemy loses X strength permanently, apply X weak permanently. Not permanently, but you know what I mean. Upgraded is +1/+1. So against bosses that hit multiple times, this doing numbers. Master Planner, when you play a skill, it gains Sly. Can be good. I'd usually only take it in Sly specific builds, otherwise it's just a dead card. And this might be a bit controversial, but I'll put it in D. I almost never take this, even in Sly builds. Memento Mori, deal 8 damage, deal 4 for each card discarded this turn. Can be really good. I put it maybe into C. You can do things with it, but it really doesn't pop off in the same way other cards can. Gain block equal to poison on all enemies. Exhaust. In a poison build, this is insane. But in all other builds, it's not. So in non-poison builds, this is obviously just a dead card. I think that's why it's going to D. Murder. Deal 1 damage, deals 1 additional for each card drawn this combat. I think this is a B. And the reason why is that the Silent always draws more cards than other classes, pretty much. It's the heavy card draw class. Murder can really close out games because the Silent usually have a lack of damage early on, especially. Yeah. Neutralize. I love this card. This is amazing. Upgraded is 4 damage, 2 weak. Oh boy. For 0, I think this might be actually the best class-specific card. Neutralize. It's Nightmare. Choose a card. Next turn, add 3 copies of that card into your hand. Exhaust. I'd put this into freaking E. I've never used this. I will never use this because why would I? Best case scenario. Best case scenario is if you have this and like adrenaline. And then you can play this card on adrenaline. You get 3 adrenaline next turn, but it's so niche, and why would you do that? I would never take this card. Noxious Fumes. At the start of your turn, apply 2 poison to all enemies. I like this card. It's good. I put it into B. The reason why is that if you get this the first turn, it's a constant pressure of damage that you apply. And you poison them all. So this can trigger other poison related cards as well. Pretty good. Every 3 times you apply poison, deal 11 damage to all enemies. Also kind of nice. Still, I put it into C. Actually, yeah. So basically, if you face 3 enemies and you have the Poison Haze, this will trigger every turn, which is great. But it's way too niche for it to be better than I put it. Phantom Blades. Shivs gain retain. The first shiv you play each turn deals 9 additional damage. I think actually this is one of the better shiv cards. It's just... It's an A card. It's really fucking good. Piercing Wail is also an A card. All enemies lose 6 strength this turn, exhaust. So for multi-hitters, this is amazing. Can be good for other parts as well. So yeah. This card basically says gain 6 block for each enemy. At minimum. If it's a multi-hit, yeah, gain 3 block for each individual attack performed or whatever. Yeah, it's really good. Deal 17 damage, cost 1 less for each skill. Play this turn. I put this into D. Poison Stab. Good early game. Late game I would never pick it. Pounce. Deal 12 damage. Next skill you play costs 0. This is not great. Precise Cut. Deal 13 damage. Deal 2 less for each other card in your hand. I never pick this anymore because why would I? There are many other cards that's better than this. Predator. Deal 15 damage. Next turn draw 2 cards. I think this is decent but not much else. Prepared is one of the best cards because card selection is always OP. I always take at least 1 prepared if I can. Reflex. Kinda nice. Ricochet. Deal 3 damage to random enemy 4 times Sly. I know many people like this card and I think it's pretty okay. But I don't think it's that good. I'm sorry. Whenever you play a card, deal 4 damage to a random enemy. It's way too expensive. I wouldn't pick this. Shadow Meld. Double your block gain this turn only. I mean, it's decent. Can be a done card if you don't run much block. I'll put it into C. Shadow Step. Discard your hand. Next turn attacks deal double damage. I think this is a B. And the reason why is that upgraded it's 0. So basically it says just next turn your attacks deal double damage every time you draw it. I really like the card. And it can trigger Sly too. So win-win. Skewer I think really sucks. I've never taken this card and it's performing well. Slice is decent. Put this in D. Snakebite is a huge meme currently. I think you know what, I'll put it into D. It's too costly. Way too costly. Sneaky. Whenever another player attacks an enemy, gain 1 block. Whenever you draw a card during your turn, deal 2 damage to all enemies. This can work in Sly builds, otherwise I'd never pick it. It's the Storm of Steel, discard your hand, add 1 achievement to your hand for each card discarded. Can be really good if you have multiple status cards where you take damage or other negative effects. But I never pick this card. Strangle. Deal 8 damage. Whenever you play a card this turn, the enemy loses 2 HP. This is decent. There are much worse cards, much better ones. Sucker Punch I think is actually one of the better attacks, just because of the weak effect. Upgrader it's like, too weak. So what's this? Suppress. Innate. Deal 11 damage, apply 3 weak. This is great. All of these innate cards, just crazy. Survivor is a good block card. Put it in the B. Tactician. Getting energy from discarding cards. It's kind of cool. Maybe I put it into B. I put it in C, yeah. The Hunt. Deal 10 damage if fatal, gain an additional card reward. I've never taken this card. It's way too niche. Tools of the Trade. Yep. Bam, bam. Upgraded this is 0, and having card selection is always so powerful. This can trigger Sly as well. I mean, and tracking. Weak enemies take double damage from attacks. Holy hell, what a card. Untouchable Sly, gain 9 block is decent. I think they've nerfed this slightly. It's a C. Up my sleeve, add 3 shifts into your hand. Reduce this card's cost by 1. I think it's a B, and the reason why is that it's a bit too costly at first. But the second cast is always nice, and then the third it's 0. but it's still maybe a C. Yeah. Well laid plans. This is an A. Retaining a card if you want is really powerful in times. Great form, gain 2 intangible at the start of your turn, lose 1 dexterity. I think this is very, very situational. Obviously against bosses, that's where it shines. Because if you know or have met bosses before, you kind of know how many times they attack and how many times they block, etc. Oftentimes this saves you for more than 2 turns, where you can just focus on damage as well. So oftentimes this is just, you can't be killed for 3 or 4 turns. The problem is that you lose 1 dexterity, so this is like, you need to end this now. And it's costly. So, I'm not sure. Would I pick this? I would probably not. So that's my finalized list for the silent. Yep. Here we am. One more. There's the finished list. Really cool. And yeah, that's it. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Am I crazy or am I right? I'm right. So on to the next guy, which should be the Regent. Alright, so I am back. I didn't just take a short break, I waited a day because I didn't really have it in me to finish what I started earlier. But today, now, we're gonna take a look at the Regent tier list. The Regent is a new class or new character. Wasn't in the first game, so completely different. One of the mechanics is, of course, the stars that you can use as a resource. So starting up with alignment. It's cut off, but this costs, I think, 3 stars and you gain 2 energy. Or 3 upgraded. And this has never failed me, but the problem is when you don't really need it, it's just a dead card. And we don't like dead cards. But when you need it, you can draw it and like you can cast the blade. And then you can, if you have some ways to get it back, like sovereign something, I think, you can cast the blade again on the same turn. If you have forged a lot, this is crazy. So middle of the road, C. Arsenal, whenever you play a colorless card, gain 1 strength. This is changed now. It's whenever you create a card, gain 1 strength. This is actually, might be controversial, but this is just crazy. It can lead to so many insane combos, even if you're going for a star build or whatever. But if you have this innate, upgrade rates innate, so you have it immediately at the start of combat, at the start of each combat, you can just snowball into whatever. It's crazy. Astral Pulse is really, really good. I would maybe... you know what? I'm actually gonna put it into A2. Early on, especially Act 1, this can definitely help you out. And it costs, I think, 3 stars at most. It's really, really good. That's all I'm gonna leave it at. Beat into shape. Deal 5 damage, forge 5. Forges an additional 5 for every other time you hit the enemy this turn. Yeah. So base level, it's deal 5 damage, forge 5. Then if you have made an attack earlier, it's deal 5 damage, forge 10. I really think this is one of the worst cards that the Regent has. Yeah, you can get off some combat tricks with multi-hits for star. There are some of those. But it's just so niche that I can't really rate it otherwise. Begone! I think it's a B. has it begun? Base level. It doesn't do this anymore. I think it's just you can transform a card into your hand into minion something, and basically it deals 7 damage. You draw a card for 0. This is a great way to thin out your deck. It's also a great way to get rid of status effects. I really like this card. Big Bang is just an S. This is one of the best cards the Regent has. End of. Draw a card, gain 1 energy, gain 1 star, forge 5 for 0. That's crazy. Black Hole, whenever you spend or gain star, deal 3 damage to all enemies. I think this is D. And the reason why is that if you go for a star build, this can definitely do stuff. Because it's both when you spend or gain. But let's say you have a card that nets you 2-3 stars. This deals 3 damage to all enemies once, not 3 times, so could be way better. Bombardment, deal 18 damage at the start of your turn, place from the exhaust pile. Exhaust. So basically this is 2 in 1, but I still think it's way too expensive. I think it's decent sometimes. And if you exhaust it as well, you can do stuff with that. But it's just way too niche. I wouldn't put it higher than that. Bulwark is probably an A. You gain a decent amount of block and you forge 10. And forging isn't really, oh, you deal 10 damage. No, it's 10 damage more each time you blade. At least. And that can really do stuff later on. I really like this card. Bundle of Joy. It's a C2. The issue with it, now it costs 1 by the way. The issue is that it's 3 or 4 random colorless cards. And colorless cards usually are pretty good. But you can never guarantee you're getting good cards. A combo is Bundle of Joy with Arsenal, of course. Because then it's add 4 random colorless cards into your hand, upgraded then. You gain 4 strength. That's crazy. Celestial Might is pretty good. I'd put it into B. This can also really drag away if you either have vigor or if you have strength. I think this is pretty decent for what it does. Base level, it's 18 damage for 2, which is okay. Yeah. Charge is an A, I think. Choose 2 cards in your draw pile to transform into minion strikes. This costs 1. You get rid of 2 cards because I think minion strikes exhaust after use. And it costs 0 and deals 16 damage. That's pretty high for a 1-cost card. Actually, this is a premium. This is even better. Yeah. Child of the Stars. Whenever you spend stars, gain 2 block for each star spent. I think this is kind of nice to have. Going for a star build, or even if not going for a star build, if you spend a lot of stars, which you usually do somehow, you always gain block for it. So for example, if you do Astral Pulse, you gain also 6 block. That's really, really good. Cloak of Stars is really good too. I'd probably put it into B2. It could be A. It costs 1 star for 7 block, but it also takes up a spot in your deck. I think it's right where it's supposed to be. Collision Course. This might be really controversial, but this is an A for me. Deal 9 damage, add a debris into your hand. This also triggers Arsenal, of course, because you create a new card. Upgraded, it deals a decent amount of damage. So worst case, you cast this for 0 and then you can exhaust the card you get for 1. So 9 damage for 1, it's okay. Comet is like an S. This is crazy. It costs 5 stars, deals a lot of damage, applies 3 weak and 3 vulnerable. This is one of the best cards the Regent has. Conqueror, Forge 3. Sovereign Blade deals double damage to the enemy this turn. The only issue with this is the forge is quite low. Otherwise, deals double damage to the enemy this turn can really win you games or combats. But aside from that, it's too niche. Convergence is really freaking good. Next turn you gain both energy and star. Retain your hand. Retaining hands in this game is so strong. So, Cosmic Indifference. This is going to be wildly unpopular. I'm gonna put this into S. The moment, the number of times this card has just absolutely saved my ass. Hold on, let me actually drag down the volume a bit by moving this. The number of times this has saved my ass is through the roof. You can also bring back Comet, for example. You can bring back Collision Course or even Big Bang if you didn't want to cast it earlier and wanted to save it for some reason. You can bring back Alignment for extra energy. It's so versatile. I know you don't get it into your hand, but it's so easy to get some form of card draw where you can get it. That's my opinion. Crash Landing. Deal 21 damage to all enemies. Fill your hand with debris. I think this is fine. I'll put it into a D because it's also very niche. Sorry, I gotta chug. Sorry, my throat is fucking acting up. Yeah, base level 1 energy, 21 damage to all enemies is really powerful, but it also fills your hand with debris. Of course, if you have Arsenal, this will net you a lot of strength, but the issue is also that if you don't, it's just a worthless card, I'd say. Can help you Act 1, but it's not worth it. Crescent Spear, very strange card. I could put it into B, but I'm probably gonna put it very low. I like this card. I usually take it if I'm playing a star build, because then pretty much all your cards will have some form of star cost to it. And yeah, it can really ramp up later on. But it's also 1 energy and 1 star, so I think it's kind of it's both. Crush Under, deal 7 damage to all enemies. All enemies lose 1 strength this turn. This can help with multi-hit enemies. So I think I put it into C because of that. 7 damage to all enemies isn't really wow, but it's still kind of nice early on. So decisions is like an A. If not even higher. Put it even further in. The reason why is I think it costs 5 stars or 6, and upgraded it draws you 5 cards, and it plays your skill 3 times. That can be any skill. It can be this one, Convergence, so next time you gain 3 of each. It can be Bulwark, so you gain 39 block and Forge 30. It can be Big Bang too. I mean, it's crazy. This is so freaking good. Defend. Devastate is decent, but it's just pure damage. It's like even in star builds, this isn't all terrific. It costs a lot of stars. I'll put it into F actually. Dying Star, Ethereal, deal 9 damage to all enemies. All enemies lose 9 strength this turn. I think this is really, really good. Probably an A, to be honest. And the reason why, I mean, yeah, absolutely. You can be very unlucky, and when you draw this, you can play it, and it's gone for amp. But it doesn't take up a spot in your deck that way. If it was an exhaust card, I would understand it. But Ethereal doesn't really matter. And all enemies lose 9 strength this turn is quite strong. Falling Star is kind of nice early on. I put it into C. One of the better cards, actually. and it applies 1 weak and 1 vulnerable for 2 stars. This is really, really strong. Probably put it into S, to be honest. Now that I think about it, it's 2 cards from your draw pile into your hand, and you get to choose whichever card you want. Instead of just drawing 2, you can pick 2 from any cards in your draw deck. It can be a dead card though, and that's when if you have no cards in your draw pile, but that's very unusual, and if you do, you're unlucky. So Furnace at start of your turn, Forge 4. It's D, it's kind of too low. I usually pick one of these if I'm going for a Forge build, because 1 energy, if you have some energy boosts or whatever, isn't that much. Gamma Blast is really, really good. Probably put it into an A. Deal 13 damage, apply 2 weak, apply 2 vulnerable. So basically, it's Falling Star. Actually, this should be B. Falling Star, Gamma Blast, and then Comet, of course. Gather Light, one of my favorite block cards for the guy. I think the block is quite low. Put it into C. And that's the reason why it only gets a C. But it also nets you 1 star. That's nice. Genesis to B. It can help trigger other effects with stars. Gaining 2 stars at the start of each turn can really help win games, I think. Or combats. But I'm trying to think. It's still 2 energy. We'll put it into C. Glimmer, draw 3 cards, put 1 card from your hand on top of your draw pile. Good card selection options. You can save a card until next turn. I think this is really good. I might be wrong, but I think it's really, really good. So B. Glitterstream, really cool block card. I think they buffed it slightly. Other than that, I usually don't pick it. 11 block for 2 mana is usually a bit low. That's why it's in D. I like it though, I like it. Glow, really, really nice. They've changed this one. You gain 1 star and you draw a card, and next turn you draw another card. But card selection is always nice, and the star gain also helps. Guards is crazy good. Transform any number of cards into your hand into minion sacrifice, which is a block card that costs 0. It can trigger arsenal, it can trigger anything else, and it really, really helps thin down your deck. You can get rid of statuses. I mean, this card does everything, and it helps you survive an extra turn almost always. Guiding Star. Now this is an A card if I ever saw one. I think it's 1/2. Deal 12 damage next turn, draw 2 cards. I think they've changed it. Now it's 2 cards immediately. Hammer Time. Whenever you forge, all allies forge as well. I don't really think it's good. Yeah. I'm gonna drill. Up it goes. Many people, I think, sort of undervalued the X cards somewhat. Double X if it's 4 or more. So say if you have if you last turn gain 3 or 4 vigor or whatever, or if you have at start of your turn gain 4 vigor. Unupgraded if you have 4 energy, which is not that hard to gain. This basically says, yeah, deal 12 damage 8 times. It's over 100 damage at base without any... Yeah, it's good. Hegemony, deal 15 damage next turn, gain 2 energy. Can be nice, but I would prefer if it was block. Heirloom Hammer, deal 17 damage. Choose a colorless card in your hand and a copy of that card into your hand. I think this is another... you know, actually, it's an F. I'm sorry. It can really help you if you have a crazy 0 cost colorless card or just a crazy colorless card at all. but at the same time it requires you to have a colorless card, otherwise it's just useless. And 17 damage for 2? That's really bad. I don't really pick this anytime. Hidden Cache is pretty good. Let's see. I'm invincible. Gain 9 block at the end of your turn if this is on top of your draw pile, play it. There are so many cards that sort of enables this, I think. And 9 block for 1 is decent, so. Kingly Kick, deal 24 damage whenever you draw this card, reduce its cost by 1. So base, when you draw it, it actually immediately costs 3. So 3 for 24 damage and nothing else, and it requires you to draw it multiple times. You can of course combine that with Cosmic Indifference, for example. But I still I mean, it's okay. It's like a D for me though. I'm not sure. Kingly Punch, deal 8 damage whenever you draw this card, increases damage by 3 this combat. Sort of the opposite effect to Kingly Kick. Instead of making it cheaper, you just make it stronger. I think this is way better. It just costs 1 and deals 8 damage at base. Decent. Knockout Blow, deal 30 damage if this kills an enemy, gain, I think it's 5 stars. Act 1, this is good. It's a good card. Can help close out some rounds or even combats. But it's just a D. It's not that good. Yeah, D. No Die Plays. I really like this card. Probably put it into B. And why that is unupgraded. Yeah, it's 1 weak, 1 vulnerable, 0 exhaust. Upgraded, it's just 1 weak, 1 vuln. So that's why it's in that high. I really like this card, to be honest. Lord Yes, another player adds 1 random colorless card to their hand for 0. That's really good. Can help you. I haven't played with it though. You know what? I haven't played with these multiplayer cards. Large S. So this is just a rough estimation. For 0. I think this is quite nice. Deal 4 damage for each skill already played this turn for 0. It's okay. I don't think I would play this actually many times. Make it so, deal 6 damage every 3 skills you play in a turn, put this into your hand. So it's kind of similar to Lunar Blast. But this also only triggers from the discard pile. I know it doesn't say so, but it does, I think. Otherwise I might just be talking random shit. But most often, if you play this, you can play 3 skills and put it into your hand. It's not hard to do to get a trigger. I think it's decent. It's a C. Manifest Authority, probably my favorite block card. Until the next block card I find. I'm sorry, I really like this card. Add 1 random colorless card into your hand. The issue is though that it sort of bloats your deck, so maybe I should put it here. Meteor Shower is crazy. It's crazy. Deal 14 damage to all enemies. Apply 2 weak and vulnerable to all enemies. Oof, for 2 stars? Get out of here. Honor's Gaze. Whenever you attack an enemy, it loses 1 strength this turn. I have never played with this. And I probably will never play with it either. It's not that great. And it costs way too much to be worth it. Monologue. Whenever you play a card this turn, gain 1 strength. Same there. I'd never pick this card voluntarily if I don't have much worse cards. I'd never pick this card voluntarily. Neutron Aegis, gain 8 plating for I think it's 1/3. Can help you survive sometimes, but it's just not good. Orbit though. I put this into B actually. Orbit is one of my favorite cards because upgraded it's every 4 energy you spend gain 1 and it's just 1 energy to play it. Usually you want to set it up early if you can, and with a blade build for example, forge build, you can just crush enemies with this. It's really freaking good. Pale blue dot. If you play 5 or more cards in a turn, draw 1 card at the start of your next turn. This is obviously for star builds. Can really help you out. I'm not really sure how to value it though, because it can be really bad. I don't know. I probably put it in D, and the reason why is I prefer secure draw. Parry. Whenever you play Sovereign Blade, gain 6 block. I think they've really buffed this, so I think it's 10 and 13 now. It's decent, but it's way too niche, and there are better cards. Article Wall. Gain 9 block, return this card to your hand. This is really, really good. Because you can play it multiple times. So if you only draw this turn, this card in a turn, you can play it multiple times. Patter, also one of my favorite blocks. Still, it's better than Gather Light, I think. So I put it into B. Gaining 2 Vigor. There are so many multi-hit options for the Regent, so I think this deserves that spot. Photon Cut. Deal 10 damage, draw 1 card, put 1 card from your hand on top of your draw pile. It's decent. It's okay. Yeah. Lure of Creation. Whenever you create a card, gain 3 block. This is just insane. Put it into A, because if you go a card creation build, or colorless card build, you really, really want this card. This together with, for example, what can we say? With Charge, that's just 6 block for free. This together with Bundle of Joy, and that's 12 block for nothing. It's crazy. Prophesize. Draw 6 cards can be nice in star builds. I think it's too expensive though, and too many draw. It's really good draw. 6 cards. I don't know. No. Kazar, choose one of 3 random colorless cards to add into your hand. It's 2 energy for this one. I think it can be good. You get to choose, so that's the reason it gets a C. Radiate. Deal 3 damage to all enemies for each star gained this turn. This is a multi-hit, of course. It scales really good with Vigor, for example. And if you have some strength, you can just 1 turn kill bosses even with this one. That said, it's kind of too niche. I wouldn't put it higher than C. Refined Blade, it's great. The Forge is buffed. Reflect, A baby. Gain 17 blocked attack damage is reflected to your attack this turn. Resonance, gain 1 strength. All enemies lose 1 strength. I think this is kind of... It's cool to make the enemies lose strength. And if you can draw this multiple times, you have star generation. I mean, it's good. I would never take it though. Royal Gamble. Put into B. Very high B. Maybe an A. Gain 9 stars for the price of 5. Exhaust. Upgraded its retain, so just that it exhausts itself is really nice. Royalties is better than I thought it was. Put it into C. At the end of combat, gain 30 gold. You can you know what? It's a B. It's a freaking A. Because the more I think about it, you can really, really go wide with this. If you gain this early on, from now, for example, the first guy, and you manage to play it sort of pretty much every combat, you can just buy out whatever you want from the merchant. You can buy relics, you can buy potions if you really need to. Colorless card rewards are usually very good. And trimming your deck is always a powerful ability. So when you get up in the Ascension ranks, this becomes way better. Seeking Edge, Forge 7. Sovereign Blade now deals damage to all enemies. I've played with this. I really like it. I don't think I put it higher than a D. And it's really nice that it hits multiple enemies. But there are only one last boss, I think, that's 2 enemies. And that's the Queen. Often, when you face a boss, it's just one guy, and that's when you really need this to hammer home the damages. So, that's why. 7 stars. I think this is a B. It's a bit too high on the energy side. I think upgraded it just costs 1. But dealing 7 damage to all enemies 7 times can really crush multiple foes easily. The reason I value Astral Pulse higher is that it's much easier to trigger. Costs 0 energy, just 3 stars. And this is cool and all, but it can become a dead card if you don't have the stars for it, sadly. Shining Strike, deal 8 damage, gain 2 stars, put this card on top of your draw pile. So this is a repeatable attack you can have if you want to gain some nice star generation. I think this is way better than people actually value it for. I think I'd put it into C. And Solar Strike, I'd probably put in D. Spectrum Shift, at the start of your turn, add 1 random colorless card into your hand, upgraded 1 energy. I think this is a B. Can really win you games or combats, and it can really make you lose one too. But it also triggers up an arsenal, so when you create a card you gain 1 strength, etc. and you also gain a block from it. So it's sort of that steady flow that you want to get going. Spoils of Battle, they've changed this now. Now it says forge 5, draw 5, draw 2 for 1. It's a bit better in that case. I still think it's not all too good. Stardust, deal 5 damage to a random enemy X times with the amount of Stardust you have. It can really go crazy, but like Radiate, I think it's way too random, maybe I should say. Sure. Summon 4th, I like this. Fight me. It's a B in my book. When I play a Forge build, I want this as soon as possible, pretty much. This will, together with other energy regeneration cards, so for example, where do you have like Orbit or Refined Blade? You can play the blade twice in a turn, and that can really win you games. Supermassive. I'm sorry. In a card creation build, this just wins the game. It's just an auto include. I'd pick it immediately when I see it, if I go for that type of stuff. Increase the cost of Sovereign Blade by 1. Sovereign Blade now hits an additional time. It's a bit expensive. I think it's a B though. It can win you combats, but it can also lose you. So maybe upon reflection, it's like a C. Terraforming, gain 6 vigor. I think this is a terrible card. I think they buffed it, so it's a bit better. I think it's 10 vigor now, but still. Yeah, baby. These cards are always just insanely good. Whenever you play a card, gain 1 star. Oh no. Oh. The Smith, Forge 30. Bam! The reason why this is it's 1 and 4 stars. Upgraded, I think it's Forge 40. And for 1 energy, I know it's stars too, but for 1 energy to forge effectively 40 damage each time you cast Blade, it can insta-kill multiple enemies that you come across, and yeah, it's one of the best Forge cards. It is the best Forge card. And start of your turn, draw 1 card and exhaust 1 card from your hand. Can be nice if you have card creation and you just want to exhaust all the extra cards. I think this is maybe like a B. Even in card builds where you don't have all that many card generation stuff, there are oftentimes some status effect, other stuff like that. It's a good card. Venerate, pretty bad. Void form, end your turn. The first 2 cards you play each turn are free to play. I think this is an A. It's very pricey to play out the first time. But after you have it out, the first 2 cards you play each turn are free to play. Even with stars. So, oh wow, I drew a decisions, now I get to play it for free. Or I drew a freaking comet, I get to play it. It's so crazy. Rotting War is fine, it's a C. It deals damage and makes you do more damage. Nice. This is the complete list. I gotta zoom out a bit. Let's see, can I... there we go. Just enough. This is the complete list. There are so many cards for the Regent, I didn't really realize it. One of the funniest classes to play. My second favorite class in this game. If I'm looking at each one of them. There are so many fun things to do with him and it's amazing. Okay. So on to the Necrobinder. Welcome to my favorite character, favorite class. The Necrobinder. She is amazing. A very fun character to play as and very varied build variety, in my opinion. There are a few archetypes like Osti, support build. We have ethereal builds, we have doom builds, we have soul builds. So a lot of stuff to do. Many different ways to play her. Afterlife, summon 6 exhaust. So someone basically summons more HP to Osti. If Osti is dead, it revives it at the same time. I think this is an A card, mainly because it exhausts after. Upgraded, this is 9 summon. And it doesn't really take up a slot in your deck in that way. So, really good. Banshee's Cry is an S. If you play an ethereal build, this is a must-have in my book. It deals a lot of damage, and usually you also have the first attack you play deals extra damage. So it's not impossible for this to deal like 60-70 damage easily to all enemies for 0. That's crazy. Light Strike is pretty decent, a B. Effectively dealing 16 damage, if you can count. Doom isn't really damage, but 16 loss of HP, you can say. Almost. If the enemy is vulnerable, it deals more damage, hence more doom. So, one thing to keep in mind. Bodyguard. It's a better defend. Probably a C. Bone Charge. I like this. If Osti is alive, he deals 9 damage to all enemies and you gain 9 block. Osti dies. So, even if you're not going for an Osti build, this is a great card to have, like the final card you play that turn if Osti only has like 1 or 2 HP. Because you do damage and you gain block. And for 1 energy, that's really good. It can also trigger other cards, like this is cheaper to play when anyone dies. This helps with that, so. Borrowed Time, gain 4 energy. Cards cost an additional energy this turn. Upgraded it 6 energy. It's okay. I think it's basically you can play 1 or 2 additional cards. If you can afford it. It's a C. It's not bad, but it's not good either. I don't know if I would play it. Bury is kind of hard to rank. Deal 52 damage flat. Triggers on a lot of other cards. But you need to also gain that energy and for it to match. I think this is D. Only because of that reason. It's a C. Because I realized. It's a B. It's a D. Calcify. Osti's attacks deal 4 additional damage. This is maybe controversial. I don't know. it's a cool power, but it doesn't really win you combats, if you know what I mean. You play this and then you could have played another card just as well. Plus he oftentimes also scales with his Unleash, or I think it's Protector, the other upgraded version. So there are way better cards over this. Call of the Void, if this is a B, you get one random card into your hand each turn. That card gains Ethereal, so if you don't play it, it just disappears, exhausts itself. And there are other cards that triggers upon having like exhaust cards in your exhaust pipe. Holy moly. So upgraded, it costs 0, I think, so that's even better. This is actually yeah, Capture Spirit is awesome. Enemy loses 3 HP, goes through block and everything. Add 3 souls into your draw pile. 3 souls is effectively 0, draw 6. It counts for playing cards too. I think it's a skill. So those relics that says, yeah, play 3 skills, you gain more block, triggers on that one, and it's just 1. So this is one of the best cards in terms of the soul build at least. And card selection, even then. You pretty much, this never takes up a spot unnecessarily. Cleanse is so undervalued. The only issue I have with Cleanse is that it's summon 3 instead of 5. But I think it would be too powerful if it was summon 5. So maybe summon 4 and upgrade it to summon 8 would be fair. Upgraded, I think it's summon 5. Summon 7 maybe. It's fair. Upgraded. It's a B. I was too... You know, the rose tinted glasses and all. But it can really help trim down the deck. Stuff like that. I always love doing stuff like that. It can help remove curses too. So countdown. At the start of your turn, apply 6 doom to a random enemy. Pretty much says start of your turn, you deal 6 damage plus other crazy things that can trigger off it. So must have in doom builds, and a pretty decent card otherwise as well. Dance Macabre. Whenever you play a card that costs 2 or more, gain 4 block. Nah. Deathbringer. I love this. And the reason I put it into S is that it applies a really large amount of doom to all enemies. And each one of those enemies also gain 1 week. So this is an example with the combination of Bone Shards, or this in combination with Death's Door. So powerful. Death March. Deal 8 damage. Deals 3 additional damage for each card drawn during your turn. This is basically a verse version. Where is it? Soulstorm. It's basically a verse version because it needs to be on your turn. I would never really pick this if I'm not going for a hard soul build, and I know I always have card draw. That store is like one of the one of the best block cards the Necrobinder has access to. Gain 6 block if you apply Doom this turn, gain block 2 additional times. That is 18 block for 1 energy if you're playing Doom. Together with Countdown, that's guaranteed 18 block. I think this is... You know what? It's nice. It's not nice. Debilitate. Deal 10 damage. Vulnerable and weak are twice as effective against enemy for the next 3 turns. This is an ass though. And the reason why is that it's a decent amount of damage for 1 energy. Vulnerable and weak are very easy to apply. If you're playing multiplayer, it's even easier to apply. And being twice as effective for the next 3 turns and 4 upgraded. It's so strong. especially together with a card we're coming to later. Defend. The file is decent, but it's just damage, so. Delay is a really good block card. Probably put it into A. Gain 11 block next turn, gain 1 energy. A bit on the lower side in terms of block gain, but gaining another energy the next turn can make up for it. The Mesne is a bit expensive to play out, and Ethereal is a problem, so maybe this is just an A. But always gaining an extra energy and 1 draw at the start of your turn, it's so strong. Devour Life whenever you play a soul, summon 1. Can be insanely good in a soul build, otherwise it's just not that great, and you need to play multiple souls for it to actually be worth something. And there are other payoffs that's way better than this. Dirge is almost an A, I think. Summon 3x times. Add X souls into your draw pile. Yep, this is awesome. Drain power is decent. Deal 10 damage, upgrade 2 random cards in your discard pile. The issue is that it's random. That's the negative. Dredge is also a very strange card, because you can put 3 cards from your discard pile into your hand and it exhausts itself. But it's also very situational, very niche. I don't think I'd rate it higher than D. No, I don't think so. Eidolon, exhaust your hand. If 9 cards were exhausted this way, gain 1 intangible. This is like insanely good. I think it's quite easy to gain access to... Most of the time it's easy to gain access to 9 cards. And this just says you get to live an extra turn. It only costs 2, so if you have an energy left or something, you can do other stuff or set up in for next turn. Yeah. End of days. Apply 29 doom to all enemies. Kill enemies with at least as much doom as HP, so it immediately kills them if you cast this. I think it's fairly good. Getting this in Act 1 or from Neo is strong. Other than that, it's 3 energy. You know, I wouldn't rate it in C. This is an S. Ethereal, so it doesn't take up a spot if you don't want it. Enemy loses 8 strength this turn. Can really just give you an extra turn against multiple enemies, even bosses with multi-hits, for example. Eradicate is also a very strong card. Retain. Just the keyword retain makes this an A card instead of like a C at best. Fear is okay. Fetch is really good. It's basically also deals damage and you get to draw a card for 0. So it replaces itself, and that effect is very highly valuable. It can also help trigger with other effects if you're going for an off the build. Flatten I thought was really freaking good at first, and now I think it's just okay. Forbidden Grimoire. Holy fuck, dude. At the end of combat, you may remove a card from your deck. Any card. Eternal. So you can't remove this from your deck, but still. Can help really etch out the exact deck you want. I love that card. Friendship is also really strong. Honestly. Yeah, honestly. Upgraded, it's lose 1 strength, gain 1 energy at the start of each turn. That's so incredibly powerful. Even if you're not playing an Osti build. Doesn't matter. Glimpse Beyond. All players add 3 souls into their draw pile. Exhaust. This sounds crazy. This sounds crazy. I have never seen this card, but it sounds crazy. Grave Blast. I'd rather this be blocked than it would be like a B at least. Grave Warden is one of the best block cards in the game, I think. Add a soul into your draw pile. Hang is not good. I have never gone for a run where I got 2 of these. And you usually want 2 of them to even take 1 of them. So you get the sort of disconnect. Haunt whenever you play a soul or random enemy loses 6 HP. Fairly okay. If you're playing for a soul build, this is really powerful early on. So, High 5 also deals 11 damage and applies 2 vulnerable to all enemies. Kinda nice. It's an AoE, but could be buffed slightly, I think, for it to be better than a C. Invoke is okay. You summon 2 and you gain 2 energy instead of 1. Can set up some crazy shit. All players summon 6 exhaust. This sounds terrible. This sounds absolutely terrible. Lethality is an S. The first attack each turn deals 50 additional damage. Any attack. So for example, Eradicate. If you have lethality on, you invoke. Next turn or whatever, you have Eradicate. Oh, congratulations. The unupgraded one will do 22 damage 5 times. No. It will do 16 damage 5 times. Anyway, it will do a lot of damage. Melancholy, also an incredible card. Gain 13 block, reduce this card's cost by 1 whenever anyone dies, including Osti or an enemy. It's very easy to get this to 0. 0 for 13 block is powerful. Actually 1 for 13 block is kind of nice too. Misery, deal 7 damage, apply any debuffs on the enemy to all other enemies. If you're going for a debuff specific build, this can really be something. It costs 0 too. Does it really? 0 for this? That's really strong. Maybe... Sure. Holy fuck. I just realized that this is an A card, and you know why. I gotta check something. I gotta... Give me a sec. This card is... This card is crazy. This also means that you can apply Doom to other enemies. So say if you have a Doom potion, for example, throw it on one. Congrats. A 0 energy card deals 7 damage. All enemies receive 33 Doom. All other. Wow. Wow. Holy fuck. Necromaster is summon 5 whenever Osti loses HP. All enemies lose that much HP as well. If you're going for an Osti build, this is one of the best cards. Negative Pulse. Honestly, probably the best block card. Because it basically computes to gain 5 block, apply 7 Doom to all enemies. Apply 7 loss of life in the long round, or yeah, you get what I'm saying. Nero Surge is probably an S2. Gain 3 energy, draw 2 cards. At the start of your turn, apply 3 Doom to yourself. That's not a lot, and usually combats doesn't last that long. Of course, you can die from it, but if used strategic. I think it's spend time for me soon. If you use it in a smart way, you don't really feel the effects of it. No Escape is an A. In Doom builds, this is your closing out card, usually. Oblivion is... not so good. Page Storm. Whenever you draw an ethereal card... Draw a card? What? Whenever you draw... Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is great. even if you don't play a specific ethereal build, there are still so many cards that is ethereal. If you have Call of the Void, for example, this basically says at the beginning of each turn, you draw an extra card. So that's really powerful. Parse, ethereal, draw 3 cards for 1. What the fuck happened here? It's decent. Poke is good. This is good. This is the good tier. This is great. This is amazing. This is like, pick it. Protector. Osti deals 10 damage, deal additional damage equal to Osti's max HP. It doesn't matter if he has like 3 or 4 current HP and he has like 30 max. This will do numbers. I'd put it into B though, because there are much better cards out there. This is only good for, I think, Osti builds. Pelagro kind of sucks. I thought it was good before. It's way too costly for the effect. Not worth it. Deal 5 damage for each ethereal card played this combat. I don't care what people say. I think this is one of the best cards for ethereal builds. It's like a B actually, because it favors drawn out combat. But if you play this first thing with lethality, you just kill the enemy. Putrefy. I put it here. Play 2 weak, play 2 vulnerable, exhaust. Upgraded it's 3 of each. I really like that card. Rattle. Osti deals 7 damage. It's an additional time for each other time he has attacked this turn. So obviously, in an Osti build, this is kind of nice. Other than that, I would never pick this. Reanimate is really good. Probably even an S. Worst case scenario, it just says you have 20 extra life this turn. Best case, it's you have 20 extra life this combat. And it exhausts itself, so it doesn't take up a spot further than that. Reap is okay. Good early game. Act 1, it can really close out games. Help you to mitigate damage loss. HP loss, damage taken. So. Reaper form. Whenever attacks deal damage, they also apply that much doom. I think Reaper form sucks. And the reason why is that it's too expensive to play. And if you play a Doom build, you usually don't have that many damage cards either way. For example, Scourge, one of the best Doom cards, is a skill. For example, No Escape is a skill. There are a few like Blight Strike, but it... no. Reap kinda sucks. Right hand. Also deals 4 damage whenever you play a card that costs 2 or more. Return this to your hand from the discard pile specifically. This kinda sucks also. If you play an Osti build, of course you will want at least 1 copy of this. Maybe, but even then, not really worth it. Sacrifice. Retain. If Osti is alive, he dies and you gain block equal to double his max HP. I really like this card. I think it's a C. And the reason why is that if you have a bodyguard or some form like this, summon 5, this card, what does it say? 2 for 12, worst case in that way. And it has retain. So oftentimes enemies have at least 1 turn where they buff and don't attack. So worst case is usually 4 block. And it helps him die, so it triggers that too. Scourge is amazing. One of my favorite Doom cards and one of my favorite cards, period. Sculpting Strike is okay. It can help you sort of remove curses, status cards, other cards like that. But it's also just an attack. Doesn't really help you win close-out games. Seance is like an A. Upgraded. This is a 0-cost card that transforms a card into your draw pile into soul. You can really trim down your deck so you get exactly which cards you want. I always pick this one if I gain it. Sentry mode. At the start of your turn, add 1 sweeping gaze into your hand. It's okay. There are way worse cards, but there are way better cards too. Severance is very strong. It's a B. Why it's a B is that it also nets you a soul immediately. Jared Fate. I really like this. Like really. Because it's 0-cost card, firstly. Exhaust, secondly. Yeah, you lose 2 strength, but the Necrobinder usually doesn't want to attack enemies. There are so many other cards. You can win in so many other ways. That's what I mean. Also, it doesn't affect Osti. You know? So I think this is undervalued. Proud. Whenever you apply Doom, gain 2 block. I think this sucks. One of the worst cards. I'm sorry. That's how it is. Maybe a D at least. Sikkim. Osti deals 5 damage whenever Osti hits this enemy this turn. Summon 2. Sleight of Flesh. Whenever you apply debuff to an enemy, they take 9 damage. For power, usually not worth it, right? Actually, I'll put this into F. There are so many ways to apply debuffs. This also triggers out of Doom. But 2 mana, 2 energy for this. Nah. So instead of this, I'd rather take an additional countdown, for example. Snap is okay. There are worse cards. I don't usually pick this. Soulstorm is really good in a soul build. Of course, helps you close out combat. Soul is really good. You know why? It's retain, baby. And it deals 8 damage to all enemies for 1. That's very fair. A B maybe. But I at least want one of these if I can take it early on. Especially against those freaking cockroaches. Holy moly. Whenever you play an ethereal card, gain 4 block. This is much better. It's a B, in my opinion. Spare is awesome. It's an A. 1 energy, retain, summon 3, Osti heals 5 HP. It's awesome. Worst case, it's just a summon 3, but you have retain. Squeeze, Osti deals 25 damage, deals 5 additional damage for all your other Osti attacks. Too expensive. Can really do a lot of damage with this one, but it's too expensive. Yeah. Strike. The Scythe, I'm kind of torn with this one because it's so sort of, it relies so heavily on you getting it early and playing it each game. For 2, you get up in damage quickly, but it's too. You can like one-shot the later bosses if you have this from, if you gain this from Neo and get there, you can usually one-shot them. But I don't think this is worth it. I don't. Time's up. It's really good. It's a B. Upgraded. Retain. Transfigure. Add replay to a card in your hand. It costs an extra energy. Exhaust. It's okay. Undeath is really good. Actually. Unleash is okay. Veil Piercer is good. The next ethereal card you play costs 0 energy. Wow. 3 cards. Wisp is... See, I have an issue with Wisp. It takes up a slot in your deck. It has retain upon upgrading it. And it exhausts itself. You know, all the aspects of a card I love. And it costs 0. I mean, come on. But it's also oftentimes just a dead card. I don't usually take Wisp. I take it in soul builds. Because you have such a heavy card draw. So Defy. Actually, Defy. Hear me out. Defy is like the best common card in the game, I think. I mean, 6 block isn't crazy good. But 1 energy, 6 block, apply 1 weak at the same time. I think this is just so incredibly powerful. Effectively, what is that? It's like at least 8-9 block. If the enemy is a multi-hitter, which many enemies are, this is even better. Also, it's ethereal. Did I say that? Yeah. If I see Defy, I pick it. Ain't no other card that I pick instead of this. I pick Defy. Yes, even over Enfeebling Touch. So, that was my favorite character. And here you can see the finalized cards. Let me zoom out a bit, maybe get everything into frame if possible. Here we go. There it is. What do you think? Let me know down below. And on to the last, the final one. We're going to rate Defect. Hold on to your seats. Alright, let's get this party started, shall we? I like the Defect. I liked the Defect more in the first game, if I'm being totally honest. But I still think there are multiple ways to play it. I think it's in this game. And it makes for some interesting builds. There's definitely some cards that are stand out. So incredibly powerful just for being powerful. So, yeah. Alright. Adaptive Strike. Deal 18 damage, add a 0 copy of this card into your discard pile. I think this is pretty good, actually. It's a C, and the reason why it's okay. We'll rename these. Nah. We'll rename these. For the final one, why not? There we go. There we go. All for 1. Deal 10 damage. Put all 0 energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. I think this is a good card, actually. I know the rate isn't that good. For like 2 energy, you only deal 10 damage. But usually, the dual cast upgraded is a 0 cost card. The sap upgraded is a 0 cost card. I usually don't upgrade it, but you know what I mean. And there are so many other 0 cost cards. It can be nice. If you're going for that type of build, it's even better. Ball Lightning is great or good. It's good. It's good. Yeah. It's not better than good. But Barrage. I'm torn on this one. I think it's okay. If you have a lot of slots for orbs, you can do some pretty heavy damage. But otherwise, nah. Beam Cell is badish. It's just not a good card. Bias Cognition is like insta-pick. This card can really win you combats just by itself. If you have some form of frost, or if you have lightning, this can really spiral out of control very, very quickly. Boost Away is a good block card. It's okay. It's a 0 cost block, 0 cost 6 block card, and it adds a Dazed into your discard pile that exhausts. So, Boot Sequence is good. It automatically will gain you 10 block at your first turn in combat if you need it. So I think that's why it's kind of nice. Otherwise you can just wait to play it until later. And then it's a 0 cost 10 block. So I mean, Buffer is great. This pretty much can help you survive another turn. And like we've seen on other tier lists, that's so powerful. The only drawback is if the enemy is a multi-hitter. Usually it won't cover for those, but upgraded it's prevent the next 2 times you would lose HP. So it's usually a take an extra turn or survive an extra turn. Bulk Up is... it's actually kind of badish. I pick it every now and then. I would definitely pick it in a 0 cost build. But there are so many other cards that is so much better. For 2 energy especially. Capacitor is good card. Chaos is kind of badish. Upgraded it's 2 random orbs. But the random aspect is what makes it bad. It's not... you can't really trust it. Charged Battery is a good card. Gain 7 block, next turn gain 1 energy. I love gaining energy, man. Chill is great. Probably even insta-pick. I think if you come across Chill, you should probably have at least one of them. Upgraded, it doesn't exhaust either, so 0 for gaining a lot of block. Can even help you sort of evoke orbs. You need one of these in your deck. Claw is good because it's 0 cost. It increases each time you play it. If you have multiple claw cards, this can just ramp out of control immediately. Cold Snap is a great card, even. A good card. I'd rather have something else. Compact is bad-ish because... And the reason why is that it's too niche. It relies on you having specifically status cards in your hand that you can transform into fuel. And fuel gains you extra energy, and I think you draw a card from them or something. It also helps trim down your deck. You can get rid of status cards that the enemy has applied on you. But usually you just wait to draw this, and when you draw it, no status cards. Compile Driver is great. Deal 7 damage, draw 1 card for each unique orb you have. So worst case, it's draw 7, deal 7 damage, draw 1 card. Oftentimes it's deal 7, draw 2 or 3 even. So that's a good one. Consuming Shadow, channel 2 dark at the end of your turn, evoke your leftmost orb. It's okay. I think it's way too reliant on you having sort of an orb build to begin with. Yeah, you get 2 dark, which is nice. But the dark orbs are usually the ones you want to sort of build for a while before evoking them. And then this doesn't really help with that. Sort of makes it the opposite. Coolant, at the start of your turn, gain 2 block for each unique orb you have. If you're playing an orb build, obviously you would take this. At least if you play a Chaos orb build. But it's just It's not. Cool-headed is good. Channel 1 Frost, draw 1 card. I think actually Cold Snap is a bit better than Cool-headed. It's okay. Creative AI. It's great. You gain a random power each turn if you play a power build, or if you have subroutine at the same time. This will just be, oh, you get free energy each turn and you get a power. Yeah, that's crazy. Darkness is great. Channel 1 Dark, trigger all the passive ability. Trigger the passive ability of all dark orbs, and upgraded, you trigger it twice. So I know it's a bit delayed, but this can quickly do a lot of damage. The fragment is fan-fucking-tastic. Insta-pick, in my opinion. If I see the fragment, I pick it. 1 focus can mean 1 extra block. It can mean 5 extra blocks. 1 focus can mean 1 extra damage for lightning, or it can mean like 32 damage extra for lightning if you evoke them and have some other. It can really spiral with this one. Double energy is badish. Yeah. It's nice that it exhausts itself, upgraded its 0 cost card, which is nice in most builds, but in a 0 cost build, you usually don't want this anyway, because you don't need the energy. So, dual cast is good. Echo Form is an insta-pick. I mean, come on. First card you play each turn, played an additional time. Energy Surge. All players gain 2 energy. Exhaust. This is much better. I probably put it into good. If you play multiplayer, you pay 1 energy. Worst case, you gain an additional enemy. energy. And it exhausts itself. So, yeah, this is good. Feral is pretty good too. The first time you play 0 attack each turn, return it to your hand. I think I put it in the good, and there are some 0 cost attacks. Like if you have claw, 1 claw only, you gain double the effect each time you play it. So fight through, gain 13 block, add 2 wounds in your discard pile. I think this is even better. I think this is great. I know it's a bit controversial, and wounds, it's just terrible to have in your deck. But there are more ways to sort of get rid of them, and gaining 13 block for 1 energy is usually well worth it. It's a good card. It's good. Flag Cannon, exhaust all your status cards, deal 8 damage to a random enemy for each card exhausted. I mean, it's okay. I would like this card to be better than it is, but it's just not. If you play a status build, of course you will want this, obviously. But it's too reliant on you having multiple status cards. It can do a lot of damage though. But it also suffers from the effects of weak, etc. So it's a bit too niche. Focus Strike is... it's okay. Faster Than Light, deal 5 damage if you have played fewer than 3 cards this turn, draw 1 card. This is great. I pick it even in non-zero build decks, just because oftentimes this will always be a deal 5 damage draw card. And what is it? Flash of Steel is the 0 cost colorless card. It's pretty much a Flash of Steel. Fusion, Channel 1 Plasma, I think it's bad. Genetic Algorithm is insta-pick, in my opinion. The reason why is that, yeah, first time it will suck, but if you gain it early, in Act 1, this will just mean a free turn later on. To survive an extra turn. Great. Against any damage. That's crazy for 1 energy. Glacier is great. It's not an S insta-pick, but you want at least one of them if you come across it, I think. If you're playing a Frost build, it's even better. If you have focus or whatever, it's so strong. the net gain block isn't that great, but you also gain 2 frost that gives you block each combat too, so yeah. Glasswork is okay. Gains you block, gives you glass that deals damage to all enemies. Quite nice. Go for the Ice is great. Actually, it's one of the best zero. It's the best aside from Shell. Deal 3 damage if the enemy intends to attack, apply 1 weak. I've saved my ass multiple times. If you have Feral, you can apply weak twice. So I think even upgraded, it's deal 5 damage, apply 2 weak. It's crazy. That's fucking crazy, man. Holy fuck. Gunk up is kind of bad. I like the card, I play it in status builds. But I mean, it's 12 damage. Hailstorm is great. You usually have at least, like, Chill if you come across it, or Glacier. Frost is so powerful in this game. This game is all about the block, I feel like, or just the Ooga Booga Smash, and this helps you slowly but surely kill enemies. Helix Drill, deal 3 damage for each energy previously spent this turn. Can be good, can be bad, it's okay. Hello world, at the start of your turn, add a random common card into your hand. What the fuck? I would never pick this. What is it? Is it the multiplayer card? Or have they even removed this? I don't recognize this card. Hologram is like an insta-pick. There are 2 reasons why. It's a block card. It puts a card directly from your discard into your hand immediately. Not into your draw pile on top of it or whatever. Immediately into your hand. And it exhausts itself. MVP. I don't think it does though currently. Anyway. Hotfix. Gain 2 focus this turn. I think it's okay. Hyper Beam is a good card. Can help you close out combats. The only drawback is that you lose 3 focus permanently. So that's not good. Cost 2 is a bit high. I usually don't pick it if I get it Act 2 and forward. The Act 1 I can pick one of them. Worst case I can just remove it later. Ice Lance is great. Actually. Deal 19 damage, gain at least 6 block. That's good. If you have Defragment, you gain even more. It can help you evoke other orbs, and yeah, it's just... I always pick that one if I can. Another player channels Plasma Exhaust. I guess this is okay. Your buddies can gain an extra energy each turn. For Ironclad, that can be significant. So, the first time you draw a status card each turn, draw 2 cards. I think this is a great card. I know many people don't quite rate it this highly. And this is the caveat that I don't pick this card during the first act. There are enemies that apply status cards like the slimes, but you kill them so easily anyway. So if you gain this from the act 2 and forward, I usually at least take one of these. And it's just 1. Leap is one of the best base block cards. Upgraded, it's 12 block for 1. It's a good card. Lightning Rod is even better. It's an okay block. Lightning Rod is good. Helps you evoke orbs, etc. Loop is kind of bad in this game, to be honest. I think I've tried to make this card work, and it can work if you play a power build or whatever. Getting the passive ability of your rightmost orb to trigger each turn can really spiral if you have multiple or if you have it upgraded. But it's just not worth it. It's too expensive. Machine Learning is great. At the start of your turn, draw 1 additional card for 1 energy. Actually, it's an insta-pick. Meteor Strike, deal 24 damage, channel 3 plasma. And it costs 5 energy, so you need at least some form of double energy stuff. I don't even think at the base level this isn't even good enough to get it. So I know it sounds cool. I don't think I would pick this one. Modded is an insta pick. Gain 1 orb slot, draw 1 card for free. And then next turn you can play you can pay 1 energy. Not next turn, next time. You can pay 1 energy to gain 1 orb slot and draw a card. That's still good. So modded I always take. Momentum Strike is... it's okay. It's actually kind of bad. Multicast is great. Evoke your rightmost orb X times. If you have like a darkness, you can win a fight. If you have a frost, you can survive another round. You get me? I can do so much things with this. If you really need the energy, you can evoke plasma too, but I'm not sure if it's worth it. Null is fantastic. You deal 10 damage, apply 2 weak, channel 1 dark, everything you want in a card. It's probably one of the best great cards. Here we go. Overclock, I usually also want at least one of them. Draw 2 cards for 0. Yeah, you add a burn into your discard pile, so you don't get to draw it until you sort of reshuffle your deck and draw a new card. Then you have a chance of drawing it. And it's just 2 damage. It's nothing. You can even use it to make fuel, for example. Overclock is amazing. It's one of the best cards. Quadcast, I also think is one of the best cards in this deck. I'd rate it like an insta-pick if you have the chance. Evoke your rightmost orb 4 times. I think upgraded it's 0 cost, so why not? Rainbow kinda sucks. I would never take this card. And again, 1 lightning, 1 frost, 1 dark. I would, if I have a chaos build going, I would probably consider it, but there are usually other cards that is much better. Reboot. Shuffle all your cards into your discard pile. Draw 4 cards. Exhaust. I think this is great. Is it better though? I think it's great. Rebound. I don't think... this is the card I know. Are these cards on the beta? Because I haven't seen stack either. I'll put them here because I haven't... give me a sec. There we go. Like, what are these cards? Are they beta cards? Something? Retract! Deal 9 damage twice. Channel 2 glass. It's decent, but it's kinda bad. It's way too costly. Rip and Tear. Deal 7 damage to a random enemy twice. Yeah, seems okay. Rocket Punch. Deal 13 damage, draw 1 card. When a status card is created, reduce this card's cost to 0 this turn. But it's just reduce this card cost to 0. So each time you create a status card, this is 0. In status card decks, you really want this. I think it's even... it's okay. Scavenge. It's okay. I'd probably put this... I probably would put this into bad-ish. Even. Would I? It's a really hard card to sort of value. If you would gain the energy immediately, this would be way better. So I think currently this is kind of bad. It isn't really worth the spot in your deck. Scrape. Deal 7 damage, draw 4 cards. Discard all cards drawn this way that do not cost 0. If you're playing a 0 cost build, obviously you would really want this, but it's okay. It's not good per se. I wouldn't pick it into a into any deck. And that's the problem with it. Shadow Shield is great. Gain 11 block, channel 1 dark. The block is a bit on the lower end side, still. Shatter, deal 11 damage to all enemies, evoke all of your orbs. I thought this card was amazing at first. And then I tried playing with it for a while and realized, oh, it's not that good. It's okay. We'll put it into okay. Signal boost. The next power you play is played an additional time. This is worthless if you don't play a power build. It's kind of bad-ish, in my opinion. Skim, draw 3 cards. It's good. We like drawing cards. And 3 for 1 is... It's a good rate. Smokestack is... It's okay, I think. It's even bad-ish if you don't go for specifically a status build. And even then you have more cards that doesn't create a status specifically. So it's only bad. It's only good for that one. Start of your turn, channel 1 glass. It's okay. It's okay. If you want some AoE. Storm is only good in a power build. Whenever you play a power channel 1 lightning, I don't really like Storm anyway. Only if I play a power build. I think it's kind of bad. Nah, I wouldn't pick this. If I could, I would just remove this. Subroutine, whenever you play a power, gain 1 energy. Same here, only good for power builds. It's bad-ish. Sunder, deal 24 damage. If this kills an enemy, gain 3 energy. This is better than I thought at first, because it's sort of... Most of the time you play it and you kill an enemy. Otherwise, 24 damage for 3, it's okay. Gain 4 energy, exhaust for 0. This is much better. This is a good card. Actually, it's kind of great. It can help you play Creative AI if you have that one, or Icelands for free and you have 1 energy to spare. It can help you play Echo Form so you don't miss out on the Ethereal if you don't have it upgraded. Yeah, that was better than expected. I think Sweeping Beam is... I used to think it was good, but I think it's bad. Damage is too low. Drawing card doesn't really matter in this case. So. Synchronize. Upgraded, it's good. Or great. It's good. Synthesis. Deal 12 damage. The next power you play costs 0. I think this is quite nice. Obviously, if you have only 1 power Echo Form, it's a free Echo Form. That's always good. But it's also 2 energy, deals 12 damage, doesn't really do much else. So, Tempest is okay. It's kind of bad-ish. Unless specifically playing a lightning orb build with the power, what is it? With thunder, then it can really kill enemies quickly. Channel X lightning, worst case it's just channel 0 lightning, then card. We don't like those. Tesla coil is okay. Thunder is okay. Trash to treasure, whenever you create a status card, channel 1 random orb. I think this is good. Even if you don't specifically play a status build, you usually have some form of card that gives you a status, like Overclock. And then it's just, yeah, draw 2 cards, channel a random orb for 0. Instead of channel a random orb for, what was it? For 1. Actually, this is kind of trying to think if I should move down more cards. I'll probably do this too, now that I think about it. Coolant is probably okay too. Having block each turn is always good. Turbo is good. Gaining 2 energy at any time is always powerful. Uproar is nah. Deal 5 damage twice, play a random attack from your draw pile. It can be just an additional strike. It's not worth it at all. Voltaic is a good card. Could be better. Upgraded, it doesn't exhaust, which is always a big plus. And it can really help close out combats. But usually you don't get there on higher ascensions. So White Noise is okay. I love White Noise, but it's way too random, even upgraded. Sap is kind of bad. Zero cost though, always cool to have upgraded. It's a free channel 1 lightning. But it's kind of bad, you know? Let me ruminate over this for a bit. Yes, I see. Yes, I see. I'm kind of torn between Signal Boost. As a standalone card, it's just bad. Playing powers can be powerful. Can be is the keyword. No, it belongs in badish. Okay, Glasswork. Book Strike. I'd rather not pick it though. Actually, it's kind of bad, right? Yep. Hot picks. Gain 2 focus distance 0. Quite okay rate. Barrage has helped me win a lot of combats, but it's not that great. I think I might have rated Hyper Beam above what it is. I think it's just okay. It's cool and all, but the drawbacks are also kind of sufficient. Should have done more damage, I think. All snap, disaster. Yep. Alright. Ladies, gentlemen, and others, here we have it. Let's see one more. Yep. Here's the finished list for the Defect. Let me know, as always, down below if you agree with me or not. You probably don't, but it's fun to make this kind of lists. It makes you sort of have to reevaluate what you really think and have to think over it. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Alright, this has been a long video. I think it's over 2.5 hours long, if I remember correctly. So I tried to add some timestamps down below in the description. You probably see it in the chapter sections of the video as well. I mean, I hope at least you do. So thank you for watching. I really like Slay the Spire 2, and considering it's just in the early stages of the game currently, there's a lot of room for improvement. So I'm looking forward to it, and I please add, I think that it was the Mystic. Oh my god, that character was so much fun. Please add the Mystic, I beg you. Anyway, that's me. I'm out. Thank you for watching.